Shalom, brothers and sisters. I want to touch on this whole story around Mount Sinai and everything and give you the update. So, firstly, Jerusalem faith leaders signed the Jerusalem Climate Declaration. Rabbi Yonatan Neril, founder and director of the Interfaith Center for Sustainable Development, said, "The climate crisis is a spiritual crisis, and therefore we need the world's religious leaders to address the problem. We will do everything to unite as many religious leaders as possible in the world to act on the climate issue." Now, let me just give my 10 cents here. If this was back in the days of Elijah and Moses and those big names, and you had a climate crisis and you realize it's a spiritual situation or condition, you would address God and you would seek God and put all measures in place to come before God in repentance, not seek Baal, Asherah, all of them, and bring all those false gods together to work together and call on their gods to save the planet. Where's the purity? Where's the loyalty to the one and only true God gone out of Israel, that their rabbis dare to speak like this? And therein lies my first problem with this whole situation. This is why they're going through that 7-year period to be purified. On Sunday, that's the 13th of November, the organization will hold a climate repentance ceremony and put forth a prophetic interreligious call to action. Again, that Elijah would never condone, neither does God. The partnering organizations initially intended to hold the climate repentance ceremony and 10 Commandments event at Jabal Musa in the southern Sinai Peninsula. The area is traditionally believed to be the location of the biblical Mount Sinai, a site of great significance in the Bible and considered holy to Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Unfortunately, the Egyptian government has chosen not to permit the main interfaith event to be held at Jabal Musa due to security concerns, so the central venue for Sunday's events has been changed to London, a location that was readily accessible to faith leaders around the world and is a major media hub as well as other locations. A small group of faith leaders will be allowed to ascend Jabal Mus and hold a repentance ceremony as originally planned. So down to a handful that are actually going to go up and do their thing, their abomination, and the rest are all going to get together in London because it's not really about God, it's about man and it's about evil. Concurrent faith-based events will be held at Mount Abu in India, Rishikesh in the Himalayas, New York City, Ecuador, Germany, Vienna, Salt Lake City, Mount St. Francis in Indiana and Australia, joining faith leaders from many denominations, including Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and many others. I will not be joining because it is an abomination in the eyes of the Lord that I serve. There is one God and only one God, and He does not allow other gods, false gods, pretenders to come and stand and call on prophetic things before Him. No, not at all. So, no, this pastor, against it, 180%, would hand Elijah the axe if we were back in the day. The organizers have urged houses of worship around the world to join in at the same time on Sunday with prayer and study focused on the transformative moment to protect our environment. Again, no. Despite the change of venue, the biblical significance and Mount Sinai are still central themes of the event, as Rabbi Yonatan Neril, the founder of the Interfaith Center, explained. Some people believe religion is separate and distinct from ecology or care for God's creation. Were it not for the receiving of the Hebrew Bible on Mount Sinai, Jewish tradition teaches God would have returned to the world to chaos and void. Applying the teachings of the Hebrew Bible to stewardship of God's creation is not just an idea for today, but essentially for a future in which we achieve a balanced, worldwide ecosystem and thrive on a planet viable for all life. Many people fear that humans have irrevocably destroyed the ecology of Eden on earth, Rabbi Naril explained, but God created the world out of love for life on earth. We need to change the operating system that humanity generated and is degrading God's creation, he said. We need to switch from greed, short-term thinking, and individualistic behavior to spiritual satisfaction, long-term thinking, and altruism. And by doing that, we will address the symptoms of the problem and manifest a new earth. May God help us. Rabbi Naril sees faith and religion as playing essential roles in the solution. Leveraging faith communities to move the needle around climate advocacy is deeply needed and a worthwhile effort. While the national political culture is divided, faith is the common ground that can soften boundaries and open hearts and minds. Towards the end, Rabbi Naril authored the Eco Bible, an ecological commentary which describes ecology as achieving a more sustainable future in accordance with God's will. Again, this rabbi needs a slap. That's just my opinion. There's no way he's reading his Torah, his Tanakh correctly. He's not understanding who God is. God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He does not share his glory. He's not putting any false gods on an equal footing with himself. You are not supposed to be seeking other faiths to soften the hearts and minds. You're supposed to be seeking repentance of the Most High God first and foremost. And you can't manifest your new earth and your new world. And I've heard this by a lot of people in all sorts of circles. We push hard enough, we can bring it all back to paradise on our own. Nothing has to end. The end of the world doesn't have to come. We can make it an amazing paradise and fix everything. No, you've missed the message in the Bible. There is a central theme and there's a time of judgment which has to take place. And God, as in Jesus Christ, is going to wrap up all of this stuff, this earth, this heaven, everything, and create it anew. All right? It's in the Bible. Check it out. No human being got to manifest nothing because we are not God. He and He alone is God. And this abomination of a ceremony that they're going to pull off on Sunday, as much as I'm happy that most of them have been kicked out of doing it up on the mountain, that it's down to a handful, and the rest have moved to London, it is still, in my eyes, an abomination and an affront in God's eyes. But judgment is coming, so good luck to all involved. Glad I'm not you. My place will be on my knees before the throne of the Most High God and making sure that I walk in the way that He has shown us to walk. We are very close to being done, people. This world gets more and more evil by the minute. God bless. Keep looking up. Shalom.